Greetings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the panel. We've got Jimmy here, we've got Dutch here, and so we're ready to get started. Sophia, I know you were missing us, honey. We are here, we're ready. Samala, thanks for coming. Or Samila, thank you for coming. We appreciate you guys and your love and your support. And let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Hey, Jim, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. How are you guys doing?
I have no complaints. I got my tea with my honey in it, so I'm looking good and feeling great.
Awesome.
Dutchy?
I'm okay. How you guys doing? I'm getting over a cold.
Yeah, it's going around, man. I just got over it too.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
still
you
a
guys
little
got
under the weather, but I'm getting better.
yeah, my sister and her whole family got sick, so yeah. I think that
Yeah,
cold
it's
thing
that
is
time
going
of
around.
year, the changing of the weather and everything. And
And the
down
weather
here,
hasn't decided.
down here
Oh,
was
yeah.
hot and cold, and
Yeah, exactly. The weather hasn't decided what the hell it wants to do yet. So we're
yeah, of
kind of,
course.
yeah, some crazy stuff going on. So look, let's go ahead and jump into some of these topics, man, because there's a lot of shit going on out there. And I'm sorry we don't have a lot of good news for you folks, but we're going to tell you what's going on in the world and we're going to give you the straight shit like it is. Now,
That's
all
it.
of our comments are alleged, supposed. But a lot of the shit we come to with facts, right? So let's go ahead and talk about Amber Rose and her parenting, right? So apparently Amber Rose told her 9-year-old son that she had OnlyFans and that she was a stripper. But come to find out, the kid found out from somebody else. So she had to tell him at 9 years old kind of what was going on, simply because, hey, Jacaris, thanks for joining us. So yeah, so how do you think it was an appropriate time, or like let's talk about this a little bit, because like this is kind of crazy. Like you telling your 9-year-old kid that you were a stripper and that you got OnlyFans? I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
if somebody mentioned it to him, I'm
yeah.
sure at 9 years old he's going to approach his mother. So she had no other choice but to tell him, which is kind of crazy at 9 years old to find out your mom was a stripper.
But I mean, like, should she have prepared him in
I,
advance?
I think so. I,
Mm.
I think so. At 9 years old, kids are pretty smart today, man.
So
So like
this happened
9 years
during the
old,
pandemic. So she was stripping during she was doing this stuff, she says, or she had her OnlyFans during the pandemic, and that's kind of how it came out. Somebody came up to the kid and was like, "Hey, saw your mom on OnlyFans or
wow,
OnlyFans." I'm sorry, I don't even know the website. OnlyFans.
wow.
Dutchy, what you got for us on this, man? You look like you trying to get in here. Lord,
Dutch.
yeah, I don't even know where to start on that, man. That's some crazy shit.
All
It
right.
really
So
is.
I think if you're a celebrity, then I get it because they're gonna find out somewhere. Once it's on the internet, it's forever. I think certain rules apply to certain families, depending on their lifestyle. If you
Mm.
live a celebrity lifestyle, um, then you're gonna have to tell your kids shit before somebody else does. But here's the
Yeah.
other thing: they did a Surgeon General. They just put something out. Surgeon General study says children under the age of 16 shouldn't have social media because they don't have a solid identity. And then they put something out that said if you are 13 years old, you certainly absolutely shouldn't be on social media. So, with that being said, 9 years old, that's rough. But considering who the child, his mother is, um, better you tell them than
Somebody
the
else.
the
Yeah.
school or you know, so that way that
Yeah.
child
It's
knows
true.
up on how to handle it. But if you're not a celebrity and
Some
it's
shit they
something
should never know. I mean,
shit should not be a discussion between you and your kid. I get
Yeah,
understand.
that's so true, man.
I get having complete full disclosure and honesty and hey, this is what I did in my life. But again, comes the age of 9.
mm,
That's rough.
yeah, that is rough. That is rough. And for a child having to understand that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's rough.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
they're not.
you've got the chick.
Like Judge said, they the Surgeon General, 15 years old, you really have no identity. You're really learning a lot of stuff and you're absorbing stuff. And social media is really destroying a lot of people's lives. I mean, people are dying from social media at a young age because of peer pressure. And it's really true. It really is sad what's going on in this country, man.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is,
that,
man.
9 years old. You're right, Dutch. 9 years old is just, that's out of control.
Yeah, it's too young. It's just too young. And I agree with you. But the problem is trying to police this shit, right? So now that social media has been unleashed, like, how do you put it back in the bag? And I don't know if we really can have the answer for that.
you can't. It's kind of like a discussion that we had earlier. Had these guidelines had been established at the beginning of social media's introduction to the public, and there was already rules in place like, hey, absolutely, you have to be 18. Now, would everybody have followed that rule? Of course not.
But the majority of people would have, yeah.
A lot of people would have, especially if it's explained as to why. So I want you to keep in mind, TikTok used to be Musically. That was for kids.
Okay.
That wasn't for adults. Now you see a lot of adults on it.
Right. That's true, Dutch.
used to be for college students. Facebook went from something for college students to now you have the general public has access to. So now you have all of these, like Snapchat. Snapchat used to be cute little doggy filters and shit, and now I'm getting people that are subscribed to porn trying to send me friend requests, and I'm like, oh shit, it's become a platform for pornography.
Yes, it is.
Right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, what you have in that bottle, man?
I have vodka.
Okay, because I saw the Aquafina bottle. I was like, wait. He pouring that to
yeah, what I was doing was watering down my vodka because it was really strong.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. That caught me off guard.
That's okay, babe. I have no problem telling you, man.
Yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it's rough out there for kids nowadays. And they didn't have to, fortunately for us, we didn't have to deal with a lot of the things that they have to deal with nowadays. I mean, life was a lot more censored for us. And yeah. I appreciate growing up that way. You know, I do.
Well, you went over your girlfriend's house and you hung out. Yeah. Now, I passed by a Naples grammar school and I saw kids in the field all on their phone. Nobody talking to each other. Nobody socializing. Everybody was on their phone. Yeah. Texting, chatting. But I was like, when you used to go, we used to grab a ball or you throw a football or you interact or you kid around with each other. Everybody was on the field, not even interacting with each other, just literally by themselves on the phone. And it really is very detrimental, especially at a young age, because your social graces are gone. Like, we can meet.
Yeah.
We can go out, we can hang out, we can talk, we can have dinner and have a conversation. They can't. Kids today cannot have a conversation.
Well, and that is also the making of more sociopaths. So when people hear the word sociopath, they instantly think serial killer. But the true definition of sociopath is a person that's antisocial, and they're antisocial, they're socially awkward, and they have their own version of right and wrong. When you are not integrated properly, like we were told as kids, hey, get out the damn house, go play.
Go play, go find some friends. Go find some friends,
go find something to do. You weren't allowed to sit at home all day. You weren't allowed to sit in front of the TV all
video
day.
Game. Yeah.
You ate at a certain time. Even if you didn't have that type of family environment, somebody in your family somewhere was having dinner at a certain time, had to be in the house at a certain time. There were certain sitcoms that you watched at a certain time. We
a family, though.
Yeah, we had more we had more interaction with family and with the neighbors and with friends and with the guy at the grocery store, and we had more interaction with the person at the post office. If we didn't know them, our grandparents knew them, or our mom knew them, or somebody in the neighborhood knew, Mr. Al that works at the convenience store that's been there for 20 years.
And Mr. Al knew who the hell you were while you were running up and down the road.
Right. What is happening now is when you see kids on my block You don't. You do not see kids outside like that. The only time I
That's
see these kids
unbelievable.
when they're on their way to school. You don't really see these kids, and the reason why you don't see these kids, and I have a friend out here. When her child would come and visit, and I kind of stopped that because it's no fun for my son. But what happened would be her child would come over and he would be stuck in his phone and would get pissed off when his mom was like, give me the phone. I've seen it with, a lot of different kids, even with my
Yeah,
own.
that's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is
that's
why I
true.
regulate. So you throw social media in the mix and you throw in you having a job that and you're famous and you have a less than desirable, I won't say less than desirable, but like for instance, you have sex work has become very modernly popular and
Yeah.
acceptable in modern world now.
Right.
It used to be taboo, but now in the modern world it's acceptable, it's not
It's very
taboo.
acceptable.
And so the word now used to be called a hooker, but now it's called sex work. They've
Yeah.
given a name to it. So now there's no
Escort.
sex. Yes, there's no sex worker shamming.
Mm-mm.
No body shaming, no sex worker shamming.
You
So when
can't
you
shame
look at
people for shit no more.
no,
And that's why
so
people
now
have no fucking shame.
that's true. So now with worker, let's say you're a sex worker in the industry, the music industry. There are a lot of women on IG that are influencers that are sex workers in the industry. Now, what happens when you finally want to set like the girl Superhead, when you finally want to settle down,
Mm-hmm.
and now this lady is pregnant, and people are like looking at her like, yeah, but we still know you for sucking, you know what I mean, and for
And is that
so
really
forth
your baby
and so
daddy? I think the baby daddy is kind of saying that it's not his now, right?
or something, yeah, something rather, or something like that. So now your integrity because of your previous work is questioned. So here's
Yeah.
what happens. 20 years, you fast forward, this shit happened on the internet. So now your child can go back and pull up all these fucked up comments. Your child can go and pull up all this stuff about what you do for a living,
Yeah.
excuse me, and everything about you. And at what
Yeah.
point? So yeah, that's a tough situation for Amber Rose. It's even
And
more
her son.
fucked up because the internet is only going to get bigger
And
until it's
worse.
not.
So
So
look,
I don't think
speaking
it
of,
was regulated.
I agree with you. I totally agree. There is no regulation. So speaking of the internet, and I didn't even put these two cases together, but I want to talk about this little boy, Latoya Stormy Monroe. They're out of Houston, and her 6-year-old baby was being raped on the back of the bus by an older kid. So
So he was
here's
sick.
my
Oh
thing.
my
Now I'm
God.
jumping back to the other topic, and the sad part about it is the whole world is going to know that this
Oh shit, you're frozen.
Yeah, you're freezing, baby.
She's frozen like Elsa.
I
Oh,
didn't know what
she's.
happened.
I don't know. So the last thing I think we all heard was the child was 6, and you were going to jump back into what it had to do with.
With the Amber Rose thing. So now the whole
Yeah,
world is going to know that this child, you know what I mean? Now he has to follow his life with this stigma because everybody knows they can find his mom, Miss Monroe, and they can now trace back. If he's an only child, he's really fucked. But the fact of the matter is, and people can do the math, and this shit's going to follow him for the rest of his life. And I
Yeah.
didn't put that together. But the sad part about it was that this little boy was being raped on the back of the bus by an older child. Um, and the only way that they found out was that he lost his backpack. And his mom went to the school pitch and bitch about his backpack. And come to find out, they ran the tape and they see this little boy being sexually molested and assaulted
What,
at the back of the bus.
man?
And this has been going on for months now, they say, you know. And yeah, he had internal injuries. They took him to the hospital. He had internal injuries, supposedly. Um, Stomach pains, right? And the bus driver actually stopped the bus on one occasion because there was a fight going on in the back of the bus, and this little 6-year-old child was trying to protect himself, and that was the fight. And so, now they're doing an investigation and stuff, but like it is a scary place because what is this other kid learning? Because you have to be a child to be able to ride this bus to begin with, right? So, where's this other kid getting this shit from where he thinks it's appropriate to take it and put it and enforce his way on a 6-year-old?
That's kind of crazy. But do you remember years ago there used to be the bus driver and a monitor?
Yes.
They used to have a woman or an older guy watching the people on the bus while the bus driver drove the bus. The bus driver should not be able to be responsible for what's going on and keep his eyes on the road. We used to have a monitor. There was a person, hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop that. Hey, sit down. None of that.
It depended on the amount of children. So if it was a larger amount of children, there were two monitors, one at the front of the bus and one
at the back. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
And if it was a smaller amount of children on a shorter route, it was typically one monitor that sat in the front while the bus driver drove. But you know, they have some buses were like overcrowded and might have to stop with siblings and so forth. And so for buses like that, you had somebody that sat in the front, and you like typically you would have like the bus driver, and you would generally have one male and one female, and they were typically older. And
and the kids knew to respect them. But these buses now are getting out of hand. Now they're thinking that the camera, so they have cameras on these buses now, and I guess the camera is supposed to take place in the monitor, but it's just not doing what it needs to do. And, you know, school systems, if you guys are out there listening, y'all need to get your shit together, because when people send their kids to school, they're supposed to be protected there. You know what I mean? And
I believe what I'm hearing, though.
You as a parent, they're traumatized. The parents are traumatized as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what is the age group of this, because I've been hearing a lot of, there was another child that was brutally beaten a few days ago on the bus, and it was brutal. I mean, brutally beaten. That child had to be roughly about 8 or 9.
Good God.
Yeah. Then the mother, the other child had already been bullied. So the sibling had already, this was a few days ago, had already been bullied on the bus. She saw the video. I can't imagine watching somebody brutally beat my 9-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. I can't imagine I can't imagine watching that. So she saw this and just wondering, like, that school was K-9. So that's curious as to, or it was K-9 or K-12. I can't remember. But I'm curious as to this school, because it raises the question that they said, why in the fuck are these grown ass kids with these little children?
Yeah.
They should not be, and no, they should not be with these little babies. My son's school is a kindergarten through 5th.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping, because I'm guessing the school was public, right? Because most private schools, a lot of private schools go K-12. Public schools typically have like the intermediate schools, or they have it broken up into 3, and then they have the different bus stops and the different buses for those kids.
Hey, kids today, period, have no moral values. Kids today are reckless. They're disrespectful. They're spontaneous with their attitude. If they don't like something, they're going to freak out and they're going to pay. They want payback. We are lost our social graces. This is a disgrace. We should not be hearing or even thinking or something even coming up like this, that a 6-year-old kid has to ride on the bus, an innocent kid being subjected to that. I mean, this is just appalling. Things are getting out of hand. People are starting to get pissed off about a lot of stuff, but you know, I blame the parents.
There's 2 things, Jimmy. One thing the first thing you got to remember, if you follow a stupid kid home, a stupid motherfucker is going to answer the door.
That's what the problem is.
And the second thing you got to remember is little assholes turn into big assholes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So both of those things equate to learned fucking behavior.
That's the reason he was raping, because somebody had to rape this child for this child to be raping somebody else.
Or he was witnessing, or he could have witnessed some improprieties. Yeah. Either witnessing.
And we're assuming it was a boy. I'm sorry. We're assuming it was a boy that raped this other kid. They just said older child. So it could have been a girl too, because girls are out of hand too.
Yeah,
wow.
They are.
You know, hey, listen, you know, where I lived on Staten Island, I got to be honest with you, they found 5 sex traffic rings. 5 gang members raping girls, preparing them, and trading them on an island that was supposed to be so safe and innocent. And it's just a disgrace what's going on. It really is. Everything's getting out of hand. You see how fast they're lucky I'm not the president. They're lucky I'm not.
We're going to
It's
jump
just,
in that in a minute, too, Jimmy. We're going to talk about
that's
the
right,
president.
babe. I'm with you. You ask me anything, I will tell.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the president.
Yeah.
But look, you hear about this young lady that got attacked by a gang of so it was a young black girl in Surrey, and she got
Yeah.
attacked by a gang of white people.
Yeah. Yep.
And the ages range from like 10 to 43. These people
Yep.
jumped on this one child.
43-year-old man. Yes.
Yeah, beating the crap out of a kid. Like the whole
Man.
world is going to hell in the handbasket. If you're religious,
What?
God is on his way. If you were
Yeah, but
religious,
what is going on?
that's what I'm saying.
43-year-old man do something so unbelievable like that?
And what can
Well,
that child have done to justify that?
man, I was appalled when I heard that, and I saw the article. It was like, what is going on, man?
Yeah.
You know, it's it's insane.
But
It's insane.
that some other shit just happened along the lines of that. Now all of this shit has happened within the past week.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. All weekly shit.
Yeah, some guy broke into a 80-year-old cancer patient's home and sexually assaulted her.
What the fuck? Now, I never understood why you go in and rape these old ladies because they can't fight back. I mean, what kind of sick individual are you?
Well, obviously they're cowards because I mean, anybody that even thinks or comprehends raping a woman is a coward, first of all, and it's a disgrace. And honestly, you should get life in prison or get the death penalty for doing something so hideous like that. It's a disgrace and it's disgusting. And I mean, really, and this is, and even in Brooklyn and Staten Island, you hear a lot of this. 80-year-old women get raped by punks, And it doesn't make a difference what color it is. They're all, whoever's doing that is just a low-life period,
A piece of shit. A POS.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with anything but just being a piece of shit to go and attack an undefenseless old woman who's probably going to suffer her whole life and winds up getting cancer. Has got to deal with some schmuck doing that to her. That's a death penalty to me. That's a death sentence.
There's a lot of death penalty cases out there that there's a lot of things that I think should deserve the death penalty.
Absolutely.
Children, you should be killed. Or take off castrate you.
Like if you fuck with children, you go to the pen, you are gonna probably wind up dead anyway. They have a different.
Oh yeah, you're gonna definitely get it. That's right, Doug. That's right, Doug. Believe me. Yeah. It's called short eyes. They don't like short eyes.
Yeah, something about that shit. So if they find out what your crime is in prison and you didn't touch some kids, you better go ahead and get ready to hit solitary confinement.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Facts.
Yeah, trouble.
So another thing, I mean, it's just crazy out there in the world. So you guys hear about the U.S. Oh, go ahead, honey.
No, I'm sorry. It's just the age. I'm still like,
ugh, yeah, right. Well, speaking of the age, if we jump back a little bit, so Amber Rose's boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend, right? What was his name? Alexander Edwards.
Yeah.
So she broke up with him because he was cheating on her. You know who he's with now, right? Cher. Cher's 76 years old. I don't understand how you go from Amber.
Did you just say Cher?
I said Cher. Do you
Cher?
life after love?
Okay, thank you.
I got you, babe.
You believe in love.
Her. Yes. How do you go from Amber Rose to Cher, though, man? No, I ain't hating on Cher. I mean, she's a great looking woman to be 76 years old, but again, that's old ass pussy.
Do you believe in love?
Yes, I do now.
Do you believe in love?
I do now. And she got him, babe.
She got him.
I fuck with you the long way. I love your music, sweetheart. But like, you know what though? I guess I'm kind of hating, and I'm kind of hoping that when I'm 76 years old, I have Cher's libido. Like I want to be like that too.
He's going with the
70.
76.
76 years old. He's knocking the Jerry off that ass.
Man, she probably ain't got no dust on that bitch the way she was rocking.
No, so here's what I'm
Tall
gonna
can't
say.
even save that woman.
Here's what I'm gonna say
Man,
to that.
you're not pulling my leg. Is that really true?
No, he is really with Cher. You
Yeah,
can look it up.
they're public. They are actually public, yes.
Yeah,
so here's what I'm that. One, Madonna dates some young ones too.
So does Demi Moore.
I think these old broads probably are a lot of fun. I have no intentions on being on the fucking porch knitting some shit. If I'm still fly and I'm still going to red carpet galas and I'm still having spa days and all this other shit, why the fuck not? I mean,
I said I'm hating on her. I want to be like that too. Shit, I'm mad I ain't there now.
Man. Golly, like
oh boy.
Jimmy's like, oh boy.
40s. Jimmy,
he's not even 40. He's
maybe late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. And you went from Amber Rose to Cher. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I wonder if Cher was the one he was sneaking around with. Well,
now let's be real. Cher is a different type of class too.
Yeah. Cher's on a whole nother level. Amber Rose wants to be there, but Cher's royalty.
You knocked me down with this one, man. I'm knocked down with this one. I'm just like,
Amber Rose is a chick, but Cher is a multi-million-dollar broad, who has rubbed noses and rubbed elbows with some of the most prolific songwriters, also movie stars. And
let's talk about with that.
I mean, I get it.
So
I do. I want to be Cher at 76 is what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with this shit. I want to be like. Do you want to
be Cher or do you want to be him? I mean, think about.
I mean, so you asking if I want to pull a Anna Nicole Smith?
That's what neither one is in a bad position in this situation because he gets to live, and if he has any interest in real, like art. When I say art, I mean music and someone that is well traveled in culture in all different aspects. Then this is a win for him, and for Cher, it's just a boy toy on her arm because basically Cher could get anybody in the industry that she particularly wants within her realm or her scope of, obviously. So, shit, who's the win for?
I think they both winning.
Because I was going to say, for her, this is a typical day at the fucking office.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's where I want to be. I like it. Well, I used to like the youngins. Now I got an old head, but yeah.
I give it about 3 weeks and he's gonna be sushi off Cher's naked back later.
Or vice versa. Already started. Shit.
Whether that or she sushi off his naked back. Either way.
Somebody getting it. Look, you went all the way back to Sex in the City.
My God, what a crazy.
I missed that show. Okay, I ain't even gonna talk about the dude being. Let's jump into the Grammys, man, and then we'll jump into some hot topics and stuff that Dutchy got going on. So, did you guys have an opportunity to watch the Grammys?
No.
I got to see Grammy highlights.
Okay.
And I saw that they made a big deal about the Diplo guy. Somebody kind of freeze framed what he was saying. Basically, there's this whole everybody's up in arms about if they're actually buying their Grammys. That's supposed to be like a thing.
People are buying Grammys now?
I don't know. Allegedly.
Beyonce walked away with 4. Is that why they saying that?
Not just her. And then they caught somebody in the audience. I think it was Diplo. Somebody freeze framed him saying, "Oh yeah, she bought that." But somebody else.
Hey, look, I wouldn't put anything past anything. I could believe that. I could believe that.
So they are
after I saw
are buying the Grammys almost like now again, this is allegedly. I don't know if this is true. This is just like a word around the campfire, which I could see because if you think about it, we're gonna nominate you for shit. Now, how much? Now the thing is, how much are these Grammys and what are they worth to you? Now I can see that. Yeah, I can.
Beyonce got money to blow.
And she probably came today and was like, fuck it, I'll buy 4 of these bitches, you know. But that's not to say that's what's really going on. But yeah, word around the campfire, 2023 is the secret is that they've been buying these Grammys and shit like that.
But you know what? That's interesting because they kept that secret for so long. Now, maybe at first it started as a respectable thing, but you have to think that people do. I mean, it's like politics, right? So you've got your lobbyists out there, you're lobbying for certain things. There are certain things that would look good on your resume that would help you sell more tickets to your next album or your next concert. So I could see them eventually doing that. And I think it may be more under a lobbying type and not necessarily bribing, but like supporting certain things and stuff like that. I don't think they're outright just writing a check talking about I need a Grammy. Here's $5 million. At least let's hope not.
I think.
Hey, look, Beyonce could afford more than $5 million and it wouldn't even tickle her. But I don't watch the Grammys because after I saw Harry Styles and his outfit.
That shit was funny though, Jimmy. His outfit was hilarious.
What kind of man is he? What are you wearing an outfit like that for?
He's a man that walked away with a Grammy. And Jimmy, I'm going to tell you, Harry Styles is probably getting more punani than.
Oh yeah, that's for definitely for damn sure. I'm sure of that.
He can wear whatever he wants.
I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this when you say this. I want you to think about what kind of punani is out there these days. Is it something that you really want?
Probably
just
not.
A thought. Just a thought. These motherfuckers are weird, dog. All of them, and everybody's doing everybody gay, straight, and
Holly weird, man.
Very. I was trying to pull up a picture of Harry Styles' outfit. Y'all keep on talking. I'm looking for it. Trying to find one I can kind of adjust. But yeah, his outfit was.
I thought glitter was out a long time ago, but I guess it came back.
So this, guys, is what Harry Styles was wearing at the Grammys. Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Can you bring that closer?
That's what I said. What the fuck is that? There we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, well, what the fuck does he have on, man? Now, Beyonce, she looked fabulous at the Grammys. Oh my God. But she always looks fabulous. And so did Cardi B. Cardi B's outfit was hitting. You know,
I have to say, she actually outdressed Beyonce this year.
Cardi B was hitting. Her shit was on point.
Yeah, she looked really good.
I love Cardi B. There we go.
Yeah, she did look good, man. Yeah.
I like the fact that, you know what?
Very classy.
Very classy.
So despite her background of being a stripper, and this is why you gotta kind of, because her kids are gonna eventually also find out that that's what she did. But let me point something out though. You've not seen her out in public on the red carpet or in court or any occasion half dressed or half naked.
No,
everything that
she's really classy lately.
Very classy. From the time that she debuted. Now, I have to say, I like that. So if you are going to have a certain choice or lifestyle, you do, and you plan on having kids, what you do after that matters. Now, here's the difference. Amber Rose and Cardi B. Now, we know Cardi makes some really raunchy ass music, right?
She does.
However, we have something by Amber Rose called the Slut Walk. And I get the concept of it, but what is your legacy? That my question is, what is the legacy that you leave behind? I think like with the court cases with Cardi, we can't excuse that she's done some shit. She's had a lot of growth since then. But I like how she's come back and she's like, hey, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes and I'm trying to do better. And she's having a lot of positive, different other things go on that are they have nothing to do with sex.
They're not as toxic as she used to be with him.
Yeah. So when I look at Amber Rose, I look at what is your legacy? What are you leaving behind other than the Walk of Fame? Which is what it's called. I'm not being funny. It's literally called the Slut Walk. I think it's promoting sex workers and women being able to be free with who they are and women being who they are, which that's totally fine. You be who you are. But
did you have to pick that name?
Your 9-year-old, you know, that you're a stripper. be very careful what follows after that, what else they dig up and find about you. Because they're 9 this year. What about when they hit 15? Because 15 comes quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
At the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Even certain things that I talk about on here or our other show, there's certain things that I have to be mindful that at some point it's going to be searchable. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, you know.
Oh yeah.
Next topic, what do we got?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Lizzo. We didn't mention Lizzo at the Grammys.
Long
She cleaned
booty.
up too. Yeah, yeah. About damn time. Won album of the or record of the year. So go ahead, Lizzo. And then they
Robert
highlighted the
Glasper.
hip hop culture, huh?
Robert Glasper. Do you guys, are you familiar with Robert Glasper?
No.
Well, he won, and Chris Brown was pissed. And apparently, none of us knew who this guy was because I guess his name is not familiar, but we all apparently have listened to him and have heard a lot of his music. He's written, so he's an older guy. You might want to write his name down, Robert Glasper.
I'm looking him up.
Yeah. So he won the best something. Was it R&B album of the year or some shit like that? But it made a lot of people.
I should have watched it. I should have watched the Grammys.
Okay, he's a record producer, a songwriter. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually got some very notable songs. None of us knew who the hell he was. So, and Chris Brown was like, well, who the fuck is Robert Glasper and blah, 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 blah. So if you go on his IG, he made this funny thing, about it going, who the fuck is, Robert Glasper? And then he starts listing all this shit that he's done.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. Yeah, he's done a lot.
Yeah, he has done a lot. And I guess if you're not, this just goes to show. Now, you see how much work this man has done and how long he's been in the industry. But unless you're being promoted on IG as mainstream, nobody's going to know who the hell you are. And he done wrote songs for people that we listen to. We've all listened to this man's music. Now, isn't that some shit?
So he won for Black Radio 3, Best R&B Album, and Best Engineered Album, Non-Classical.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what he won for, which is awesome, man. Go ahead. He does jazz. He does R&B. I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm embarrassed. Miles Ahead. He did the soundtrack for that. I loved Miles. That movie.
A lot of us were embarrassed because apparently Chris Brown made a total ass of himself. Oh, the fuck he and
why? What did he do?
Because when he won, she's saying after he won, he was like, "Who the fuck is this dude?"
He made a public post, who the fuck is this guy, and
that's Robert Glasper.
So they're saying, if you don't know who he is, then you don't really know music. So I guess it made a lot of people go Google who he was, and like, oh shit, I guess a lot of us should be embarrassed. And apparently, all that did was make his fan base even larger for some of the younger people, or for some of the people that are like, damn, I've heard this song. Oh, I didn't know it was this guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm gonna go check him out once we get off. Yeah.
So him and a couple other people won, and they were people that we have never heard any of their names, but a lot of them have been in the music industry for a long time and have been writing songs for a lot of these people.
So there's until we finally heard of them, Yeah.
Carrie Hilson was another one. Carrie Hilson was not a singer. She was actually a writer, a songwriter. That she did a lot.
I know her. Yes, I know her.
I'm not a fan. She stole my man.
Now, after people, she put out a little bit of music finally. When also, who else was like that? Pharrell. When they
Pharrell.
were they didn't do any
even Kanye started out like that. He was in the background. He was doing beats and stuff like that. All of them. Yeah. A lot of people cut their teeth like in the industry behind the scenes.
Yeah. So
Pharrell wrote a lot of music for a lot of artists.
Oh yeah, Pharrell's the shit. I love Pharrell. I saw him at the his shades at the Grammys had they look like diamonds all the way around. I was like, I need those glasses. They were some cute ass glasses. So look, let's talk about some of these hot topics that you sent over to me earlier. Smokey Robinson, girl. Smokey Robinson.
Oh, good gracious. Good gracious. So your boy Smokey.
That's my boy. I love him with his green-eyed self.
Your boy Smokey. Smokey said, and he clarifies that he never sprinkled crack. Crack. I couldn't even say that shit. He never sprinkled crack into his blunts.
Mm-mm.
It was cocaine. So
Cocaine,
much like
cocaine alone.
yep. I guess
Because
much
crack
like
is whack. I'm sorry.
crack is whack. So I guess that's his sentiment to it. But that's, I don't know, why do people go on DJ Vlad? He is a culture vulture. But that's another subject. He went on, so Smokey has been spilling a lot of the beans these last 60 days. Apparently he first started by talking about him and Diana Ross's relationship, and he had a relationship that carried on well into his marriage while he was yes, he was very married.
What's his wife's name?
Diana.
Colette? Something like that, right?
I don't know. I know that whoever his
I'll have to
wife
Google
is,
it later.
I hope she was not just now finding out about this. But he was basically dealing with Diana way back when they were just friends on the same block, and their relationship spanned over I don't know how many decades. But yeah, even while all off into his marriage, he was still messing with Diana. And
You know what?
he
I
said,
can't front, and I hate to interrupt, but I'm starting looking at Diana's kids because she done been around. One of them kids is really,
I've been around.
yeah. Because isn't
Diana.
Tracy Ellis Ross supposed to be Barry Gordy's daughter?
I have no idea.
I had heard that. Keep going though. Keep going. Allegedly.
I do know that he said he wasn't really down with much of the other drugs. So he was like a weed smoker, like a lot of us. He was a typical weed smoker. And he said, but crack was not a thing at that time. It was just cocaine. So
yeah,
crack. Yeah, it was coke. There was no crack then. Because remember, crack didn't start until the 80s. In the 70s, there was no crack.
There was heroin and shit like that.
Yeah, and shit like that. There was no shit. You had PCP, you know, like angel dust and shit like that.
Dust, yeah.
You had acid.
You had LSD, yeah, that shit.
Those are your LSDs, you know, and I think Valium. That was before Xanax. People were taking Valium.
And mushrooms.
Valium's right.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Yeah, then Xanax came around, and that was,
yeah, and Percocets and all that shit came later. All those other stimulants and shit, but Coke was what it was. So he said that was his, you know, that's what he did. He'd sprinkle a little Coke in his blunts, but he said he was like a walking corpse, you know, because he did so much of that shit. But if you look at the early 70s, the late 70s, a lot of them, that was, if they weren't, most of them smoked weed, but you had some of them that tried other shit, you know, like heroin. That was Ray's drug of choice. That was Jimmy's drug of choice. Ray Charles, Jimi Hendrix.
Fucking Eddie Kendricks too, right?
Yes.
Or not Eddie, but what was the guy? The guy from the Temptations, David Ruffin. That's my
David Ruffin. That became, you know, his started with a small coke addiction. It all starts with you know, for them, it wasn't the weed, it was being introduced in these parties with coke. And next thing you know, you're out on the road and you've got these guys and there's nobody else that you trust. And that's how the girls would get on it, because they trusted the guys that they were on the road with.
That's right.
You know? And next thing you
Jimi
know,
Hendrix was a big acid guy, man. He took a lot of. Yeah, he tripped out. He wouldn't have been able to write music, and heroin.
I was going to say that's where their creativity comes from.
Well, without heroin and acid, he told you, Jimi Hendrix said, I mean, I studied him because he's my, you know, as a guitar player, I just loved, he's an amazing guitar player, and it was acid and it was heroin that made him. He said, if I didn't take heroin and acid, I would have never been able to perform the way I did, which is amazing. And back then, Dutch, that's what it was, acid and heroin.
So then I pose a question. Does that mean that these people are special? Like, are they really more special than the rest of us, or are they just the ones that were willing to take the drugs?
Hey, you know
Well,
what? You know,
let's
Dutch.
point it out.
That's a good. That's a good question.
Let's point it out.
Um,
Amy Winehouse, wonderful singer, had a powerful voice. Heroin.
Yeah.
She died from a OD.
Yeah. And I loved her music. Rehab.
Michael
No.
Jackson.
she had a beautiful
Michael
voice.
Jackson. He died from propofol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think if I enunciated that correctly. Um, be it that they overdosed on their own shit or somebody helped them OD. This was every legend that you know of
We have a
has some
guest,
sort
y'all,
of
and I hate to cut
tragedy.
you off, Dutchie. I'm gonna let Established in 87 come in and go ahead and finish your statement while I'm letting them in.
Yeah. So we've had each of them have suffered some sort of tragedy. What up, bro?
What's going
You
on?
look at Dorothy Dandridge. They said it was a OD suicide, but
Yeah.
she was happy right before she was about to do a gig. Marilyn
Same
Monroe.
thing with a Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe. So I want
Well,
you
they
to
killed
look.
Kurt
Marilyn
Cobain. I
Monroe.
mean, we could go down the list forever.
The
Kurt
government
Cobain,
killed Marilyn Monroe.
all of this shit.
But a lot of, but that's
Kennedys,
what.
they killed them.
Jimmy and conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's not conspiracy. It's true. She was
We
going to
feel
spill the
guilty,
beans
Jimmy.
on it.
Go ahead,
Whether
Dutch. I'm
it
sorry.
was government driven or whether it wasn't, all of them were legends that died by the hand of some sort of drug overdose.
Yeah.
Some
Heath
weird
Ledger.
overdose, yes. Some weird, unexplainable, and some of them you knew what they like, but once they hit a certain plateau, same thing like Whitney, you know,
Brittany
drug
Murphy. I
overdose.
mean, we could just keep going, honey.
All of these were
Yeah.
legends that drug overdose, and that's a long list of drugs. So
Yeah.
that tells you one of two things: either the industry is that fucked up, and it drives you. I mean, Prince, it was a drug overdose, and
Yeah.
Prince didn't do drugs. He was found
May
in
he rest
his
in peace.
upstairs. Yes, and he had a hip issue, and supposedly, I want to say it was fentanyl
Yeah.
that
You know what?
killed Prince.
And I can see how he had a hip issue. I mean, you see all the flips and shit he used to do on stage. I
Not
went
even
to
Well,
that.
go
it
All
was
see
them
him with
platform,
it was,
all them platform
the
heels he used to
platform
wear.
shoes.
it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was the heels. The heels gave him a issue over time. And a
Really?
lot of people didn't know that during the flights before he would land, he had a doctor that would inject him. So I think the same shit that killed Mike and whatever killed Prince, I think now we actually know we have a name for it. I think fentanyl even then might have been what actually could have killed them. I just think now it's becoming more accessible to the public.
Hey,
Yeah.
they got a pill called
I,
Demerol or Tremorol. He was on that too, and it's pretty strong. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
morphine almost. That's
Mm,
what really
Yeah.
killed him. That's what
mm,
it was.
but what's in that shit? So here's
Like
another one.
it's like a baby morphine.
mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Them
people
Yeah,
all
need to
is. Yeah.
realize like this shit is for like morphine is for when you're about to die. It's the equivalent of heroin, but it's when you're about to die. Fentanyl, you're already kind of dead. Like they give you a little patch of that shit just to hold you
don't
over.
don't they give you don't they give you if you no that's methadone. I'm sorry. When you're
Yeah,
trying to
that's
get
That's to
if
off
you're
get you
addicted
off. That's to
to
get you
methadone.
off.
Yeah,
yeah,
But if a soldier's laying on the field dying, they'll crack that patch open, boom, stick him. He go out gracefully.
yeah.
My cousin
That's
was
when you're supposed to use it,
yeah.
not just lace your weed or inhale the shit or however
Hey,
they take it.
it comes with the territory and the lifestyle of these people. It's not easy, doing it hundreds of shows a year and getting off of a plane and not having a life and rest and they
But
they get attached to it, and like you said, Demerol, man, that was a big heavy drug they used, and that'll kill you alone,
and let me tag on to this though. This the government studies celebrities and they know their weaknesses. They know if you play the game, I can eventually get you financially, drugs, or just the mere fact of wanting stuff all the time, wanting to, they can get you. These people aren't the sternest people to get across, especially when you in that industry.
Of
It's
course,
it,
and the
it's
doctors
it's
too. The
cold.
doctors play right into it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
everybody plays into it. Everybody wants to
Michael
know what the
Jackson's
side shit.
doctor was paid over $50,000 a month.
Yeah,
That's
Think about that.
cheap though, compared to to Mike. That's cheap.
Oh yeah, no, but he was on call. It could have been more, bro, but he was on call for $50,000 a month. That was his
50 grand a
retainer.
month, and that's his only job was to take care of Mike
I
and
mean, it probably was more if he asked for a prescription, but he was on call for Michael Jackson. That's why he was having such an issue, and that's why they were pressing him in court because he's the one that killed him. You know, hey, I need it, get it. Hey, okay, give me 10 grand and I'll get you whatever you want.
I love the fact that you guys brought up Michael Jackson. I'm gonna pass it over to Dutchy. Tell me what you was talking about earlier with Mike, honey.
Shit,
Catalog, sale.
All
right.
I hadn't quite. Yeah, I hadn't got to that yet. We were on Smokey.
Okay. Oh, you still working Smokey? Okay, keep going.
Yeah, we're done with Smokey. Yes, Smokey. Let me run it back real quick. Yes, he preferred coke in his blunts and not crack. Yes, I know it's a little much to wrap your mind around.
Smokey talking about all this shit now. He airing out all his dirty laundry.
Who is Smokey?
Robinson.
Yeah, you understood that.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't say that.
All right, well, hold on. Let you listen for yourself. Hold on. There you go.
Drink or anything like that, except when I was, a young teenager and the boys who got some. I hated the taste of alcohol. I still do.
Hey, the face.
So weed was my choice of drugs, so I would smoke some weed. But I got off into any cocaine, even though I grew up in a neighborhood where there was everything. Everything you could think of was in my neighborhood, So, but I never dibbled and dabbled in it because, I didn't. It took me a long time to even smoke any weed, So
I guess you sprinkle crack into your weed and smoke it that way?
No, it wasn't crack. Thank God it was
just cocaine?
before crack.
Just powder.
Thank
Okay.
God it was before crack.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cocaine.
Yeah. See, that's not the same thing, though.
Crack is like a corpse during that time.
Yeah. I got you.
Hey, you see how he hit him with the Rick James? He was like, I never did cocaine.
Yeah,
it wasn't crack.
Hey, but you gotta give him a couple points, though.
Yeah.
You gotta give him a couple points because he's so old that back then when that first came out, it was different game. It was pure. It was kind of more socially acceptable.
Yeah,
way more so.
Studio 54. There wasn't anything like it is today. You're right, my man. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It wasn't processed the way it is now.
And Vlad straight up
making coke anymore. Everything's fentanyl. So
Vlad straight up volunteered that information, didn't he? Oh yeah, you used to sprinkle crack, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like whoa.
But
Vlad is dirty.
No, that's Vlad. He'll culture vulture anyway. So
yeah, it's like whoa. Nobody said that.
Yeah, I just said a little coke.
So that was that. So here's the other issue that we're having. Y'all do know that Dr. Dre has a history of abuse, of physically being abusive to women. You guys remember in 1991, the young lady that he beat the utter shit out of, D, who was of the show It Up. Now, here's what people are not understanding. This goes back to the Grammys. She would like to know, and a lot of us would like to know, you banned Chris Brown because of his shit with Rihanna and he was 17. Dre been whooping bitches for as long as I can remember. He's been whooping on women. He's been beating the shit out of both women, bitches, whatever his choice.
Yeah. He's got a long list of people that have come out. Yeah.
His ex-wife. His ex-wife. So they'd like to know, why is Chris Brown being snubbed and the likes of Dr. Dre not being, so what she said was, how the hell is Dr. Dre getting a global impact award after despite his violent history against women? You might as well call it the Ike Turner Award. And that's what a lot of people are not understanding.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And he is a known woman beater, so it's not like we could say allegedly. He actually admitted to whooping her ass for sure. So he admitted that. He actually got probation and some more shit. They went to court and everything. So this is not allegedly. We can't even say allegedly. You legit hit women. You legit not just hit women. You legit beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does
Why is
a
he getting
young
a pass?
I'm not condoning violence by any means. I am questioning how the hell does Chris Brown, who makes a mistake at 17 years old, him and Rihanna, they get into it. Now they're in their 30s. One has moved on and had children. One has moved on and had multiple children, have gone their separate ways in their careers. We don't, I mean, they even got together after this situation. They got back together.
Because Rihanna, because it was they both were involved in it. You know what I'm saying? And
It
Chris
was a
is
mutual
taking the brunt
fight.
of it because Rihanna
Yes,
attacked him first, is what I understood.
yes.
But Chris
So
took the brunt of it, and now he's still kicked out. See, that's what I'm
Hold
fucking.
on, hold on. So are we adding circumstances to this situation? Do he get a pass because she hit him first? Is it circumstantial? Because I
no,
can
I
throw
don't
some
no.
think
shit.
any man should hit a woman. That's what you got sisters for.
Okay, okay. So
I don't think
I
any
can.
man should
I'm
hit
about
a
to say
woman.
I can throw some circumstances in Dr. Dre's situation too.
However, wait. I don't think a man should hit a woman. However,
If you ain't got no
you guys
sisters,
should not put your hands on a man either, because
yeah,
there's something called a human response.
yep,
Now, there's a difference between a man, like a lot of men are raised not to hit women, and a lot of men will absolutely not hit a woman. But you have to understand human response. And if you continuously attack, beating him in his face and keep hitting him, and he has no choice but a natural human response to defend himself, there is a difference. And I think
yeah.
people don't understand that a human response has no gender. A
No,
person
Well,
Yeah.
can
it's
no, Dutch,
psychological.
no, Dutch. They do realize that what they're doing is basically slowly but surely trying to take all it away from men. We're going to make mistakes, but they're going to act like we're robots. Like you're supposed to do the 100% perfect thing every time in every situation.
No,
That's what they're saying.
no,
And it's
I
like,
don't believe that.
whoa, since when did we not become human?
Hitting a
yeah,
woman, though.
and that's what
Hitting
I
a woman
think.
is,
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
care
There are
what a
certain
woman
things.
does. You don't put your hands on a woman, bro.
Well, now
No, you
I have
don't.
to
You
say,
don't. We're
as an
You
not
older
saying that.
you walk away like a man, and I
I
don't
don't
care
think
what
it's like a
anybody
man
says.
though, because to Dutch's
So now,
point,
now,
and
Jimmy,
to
let me
what is
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Now, a woman is beating the shit out of you. You turn around, you don't hit her back. Now, this crazy bitch has a lead pipe now, and she's about to fucking beat the shit out of you with a
you
lead
got to
pipe.
defend
Now, mind
yourself,
I'm
Jim.
going to
now,
take, first of all, as a fourth degree black belt,
Well,
no
you
woman's
a
going
fourth
to hit me
degree
for the
black
pipe.
belt. You know how to
I'm
do
going
that
to take
shit. The
that
rest
pipe
of us,
away from her, and I'm going to walk out of the room, and I'm not going to stay there.
but you're
First
a
of all,
fourth
what
Chris
degree
Brown
black belt.
now,
and
what is
Rihanna,
your degree black belt? What
You
is
got
y'all
yeah,
most
skills.
Chris Brown and
He ain't
Rihanna's
got no skills.
situation was just more visual, and it was more in the papers than Dr. Dre. I'm not condoning anything that either one of them did, but
Well,
Rihanna's situation was just more in the news, and
but
it was
there's
more
but
visual.
they
That's
happened
that's
20
probably what
years
the problem
apart,
was.
right? Or they happened about 20 years apart. So Dr. Dre beating the shit out of D. It was in the news, but it was in the black media. You know what I'm saying? We saw
Right,
it on
right.
BET and we saw it in the black media.
And also, if you fast forward a couple of years ago, all of this shit just resurfaced again. For the
Yeah.
people that didn't know, all of this stuff resurfaced around the
With
time of
Michelle
his,
A.
well, yeah, with Michelle A.
Michelle A's
That's the second time.
documentary.
And then the third time with his divorce, it all came back about his violent history. So
Right.
people that didn't know 30 years ago knew 10 years after that. And then another, so at some point, we all collectively know that
Hey,
he
Yeah.
hits women.
hey, but
Yeah.
it's something called vindication. Now, if we can go in his last marriage that lasted 20 years, and every man may be get aggressive, but if if there's no record of him putting his hands on her,
I think he did put his hands on Nicole.
That's
I
what
mean,
she's alleged also.
I think
That's what
that's
she
what she said.
also, that is what she said. She said that this was during the divorce. That there was a lot of shit that she endured as well, and people's argument was, well, why are you just now saying something? Why were you
it's
complacent
a lot of the
before?
time that be the lawyers pushing the client to make to paint this picture. But
That's
do we
right.
have police? Do we have police records?
We
Do we
don't
have
have
this
any proof.
documented? Okay, so then that's
So wait, we
allegations.
do. Wait, y'all don't, not so
Oh wait,
fast.
maybe
We
I
actually do
misspoke.
have, they do, yep, they do have a couple instances where the cops have been called out to his mansion over the course of that 20 years.
Yeah.
And as most women, she's not gonna say shit. So we don't know what really happened, but the cops were called out to his home. There was no physical evidence of anything that can be proven, and so forth. So we really can't say. But I will say
But but
this.
but we do know that if there is
I
physical evidence, he's going regardless of what she say.
That's right.
that, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's a
That's
big
true.
fact.
That's true.
That's an absolute fact. But all I'm saying is, how the hell do you get to beat up multiple women and get an impact award? Because he didn't
A
just
lifetime
it's not an
Hey,
achievement
instance
award.
of one chick,
it's
you
called being a
know.
billionaire.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because it's not an instance of, oh, he just hit this one chick 20, 30 years ago. Nah, bro, you have a history
And
of not
beating
just
down
hitting
bitches.
women, of brutalizing women, physically brutalizing them. And that's some shit. That is some, like, fuck, man, Um,
Yeah, that's pretty out there though, you know. He
but
he
that just
was a
goes
woman
to show
abuser. I mean, I knew that. I knew that about Dr. Dre, but yeah, I think it's all a setup. I think the whole Grammy nonsense is just a bunch of Hollywood bullshit, man. And
Yeah.
like you said, he's a
so,
billionaire, you know.
speaking of billions and millions, Michael Jackson's estate is reportedly planning on selling half of uh his music sale catalog for up to 9 million.
I thought it's only 9.
9 million.
I swore it was a lot more than that. See,
It's
that's
probably
the
No,
just a They're
estimates.
probably just selling a fraction of it, not too much, you know.
She
Well,
said
he was
approximately
pretty
half.
broke, you know. He didn't have a lot of money.
yeah, I
She
got to
said
remember that's
approximately
half.
half.
Yeah, he
That's
lost a
half.
lot of money.
No, sweetie, it's 900 million. You
Oh, did I
sure?
say
Look at
nine?
you. You said 9
Did I?
million. That's why I was like,
I
nah, nah,
nine?
fuck that. Don't
No,
sell a
no,
song.
yeah, I 900.
Nine
That's
hundred
my bad.
million
Yeah,
is crazy. Nine
Nine
hundred
hundred
million is
million is a lot of money. We got to
crazy
put this shit in perspective.
yeah, nine. But wait a minute. Listen, 900 million for half,
for half. So he
Yeah.
half,
still
not
got
all.
some. So he
Yeah.
still got
Yeah.
some.
It-
So my bad, y'all. I thought I said 900. I didn't. It's the noodles that I ate. They got me feeling a little sleepy. But no, yeah, for 900
900
million.
million,
Uh,
between 8 and 900 million dollars. But shit, that's a lot of money. That sets his family up for the rest of their
I don't
lives.
even
That's like,
I don't see between. I just see a straight up 900 million for half of his music sales catalog.
okay, okay.
Um, that's shit. 900 million.
That's a
Hmm.
lot. Yeah.
He just in royalties alone, that makes up that's a billion. If you add that,
Yeah.
that's like a
See,
half.
but they got to be careful about the estate because the estate a lot of the times require more money than the actual family, and that's what be eating the money up. They
So
go
the
to this,
estate
this,
is
this.
doing it, but his
I
mom
mean,
runs the estate.
you have this. Oh, okay. Well,
Well, Catherine's old as shit. I'm just gonna say that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and more bullshit news. A former Memphis police officer, Demetrius Haley, took two photos of Tyree Nichols after the beating and sent it to multiple people.
Mm.
Man, that is I read that. That's bad, man.
Are we surprised here?
So,
Are
We're
we
so
not.
really
let me
No,
surprised?
get in,
We're not.
let me get into the full story, neighbors.
it's just
Uh,
a disgrace,
So,
man. It's a disgrace.
after Memphis police officers brutally beat 29-year-old Tyree Nichols, it is Tyree, isn't it? One
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
of the officers took a picture of him with his personal cell phone, sent it to 6 people.
6.
According to newly released documents. A statement of charges obtained through the Public Records Request the Peace Officer Standards and Training, which is called POST, was sent by the Memphis Police Department in its request to now former officers Chidarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justice Smith, and Desmond Mills, and Emmett Martin III, decertified. POST is Tennessee's police certification body, which also decertifies officers and prevents them from working in the state at any other department. Oh shit! So they won't be able to work any fucking where.
That's good.
Um,
They shouldn't be able to work anywhere. You see what they
yeah,
did to that kid? They killed him.
Hey,
yeah.
but check this. The sorry, go ahead.
On Haley's personal cell phone, he took two photographs while standing in front of the obviously injured subject after he was handcuffed. The document read he admitted that he shared the photo in a text message with 5 people: one civilian employee, two MPD officers, and one female acquaintance. Haley is one of 6 officers who have been fired from the police department in recent weeks. He is also one of the 5 who have been indicted on multiple criminal charges, including second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official oppression, and 2 counts of official misconduct in connection with Nichols' death. I also want y'all to remember what they didn't mention in here, that he was a frat boy. And there was also shit that he was in trouble for that and his entire line. Not his line brothers. I think it was wherever he pledged at. They already had some hazing situations and incidents already that have been reported. And his particular wherever the fuck he was at. So I don't. Is he a Q? What is it? Purple and yellow. What's the purple and yellow shit?
Kappa.
Q.
No,
purple,
he wasn't.
Yellow is. Oh, purple. Yeah, you said purple. I'm sorry. Black and yellow was Kappa.
Yeah, it was purple and something, because how they connected him being a frat boy was he had his band on, he had the colors on, and they're really upset that the fraternity hasn't spoken out. They haven't said anything about it, and they also have like the hazing shit is kind of linked to some of this, because this is apparently he's done this before.
That's some crazy shit. And on that note, folks, yeah. All right, so we did say we were going to cover some Black history, or do a Black history moment. I think we did a lot of that, talking about Prince and Smokey and MJ.
Actually, Black History Month. I have something for you for Black History Month.
You got it quick, because we got to go. Did you just go away?
Don't steal Cadillac converter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. He deserved that one.
He deserved that ass whooping.
That's right.
That's an old-fashioned ass whooping, man.
Oh, man. Did you hear the belt? Whoosh, whoosh,
You know how much a catalytic converter costs, man?
I see why they
It's
whooped his
unbelievable.
ass.
My truck is
that's not
$6,000. I have 6 catalytic converters on my truck.
See,
I believe it.
I appreciate
Each one is
the community whooping his
Each one is $1,000 a piece, man. I was blown away. I was in a mechanic shop last week, and I said, if I had to replace these converters, he said, you're looking at about $6,000.
They got platinum in them. That's why
that's
so
what
expensive.
it is, bro. Platinum, yeah. It's unbelievable, man.
But we appreciate that ass whooping, y'all. Thanks to the community for sharing that with us. I mean, it could have been a couple of options. He could have died. They could have shot him. They could have beat him to death. They could have called the cops. Yeah. So they decided to whoop his ass. So shout out to them for that.
Happy Black History Month.
Yes, happy Black History Month. And on that note, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining. Patricia says safe night. Safe night to you as well.
Bless everybody. I'll see you next week, man.